This is Reality Dispatch by Jim Minns.
Raphael stood away from his work, the paint smelling fresh despite the passing of a week without a brushstroke. His work was adorned on canvas, a novel method for the young one having last finished commissioned work adorning the walls of the Vatican. Florence was unseasonably warm when the door knocked at midday with an unexpected but welcome guest. Raphael was momentarily annoyed at the gentleman standing before him. The man did not meet his eyes and instead peered over his shoulder directly onto the work, never acknowledging the artist. "I'm wondering," began the man as he stepped into the apartment without invitation. He continued his soliloquy, "where the elegance exuberates without the assistance of the divine. Or perhaps I am entirely wrong, and the divine is in the work adorning these strokes." Raphael was taken aback by the man's intrusion. He had hoped no one would see the work. He was afraid of the response it would receive. He couldn't sleep since its completion. He believed it heretical and was troubled by his soul for the act that emerged by his hand, crafting such an unsightly scene. A magnificence does not begin to comprehend this significant piece. The elder gentleman continued. "What is it you ramble about, you fool? It's an abomination," Raphael protested. "By your hand this abomination exists," the older man said. "I know," acknowledged Raphael. "This is why I am troubled. I was commissioned to paint an underworld of sin to loom beneath the resurrection. Instead, the underworld has consumed the entire canvas, and there is nowhere for the resurrection. What is worse is that my hand was overtaken, and I did not pay attention. I fear I may have been guided by a beast, a demon. I cannot explain this," he said as he threw his hands up in despair. The men continued to stare at the canvas in silence. They watched as fire and sin corrupted the souls that were brought down to the depths of a hellscape that showcased many forms of torture and debauchery. "Do you know who I am?" the older gentleman asked. "I assume you are an acquaintance of a Medici here to inspect the commission?" Raphael answered. The gentleman shook his head. He stepped closer to the painting and pointed to an elbow that belonged to a soul being dragged by a demon with wings. "Look at the skin tone, the symmetry of the body compared to the young lady that sits to his opposite. Look at the geometry of the bend and the curve of his elbow. These details showcase a divinity inside you. It is not the mass of the page that tells me who you are. It is the minute that tells me you have the divine in you, perhaps the Holy Spirit. Only detail this correct can be wielded by the hand of someone who is chosen by a higher authority." The man said, "The eye is the window to the soul," the gentleman stated as he finally looked Raphael face to face. "When I look at your hellscape, I do not see hell. I see the divine. You just have to know where to look." The gentleman then turned to leave. "Wait, who are you?" Raphael asked, as he chased him to the exit. "I am a student, just like you, like us all," the man said as he made his way down the stairs that adorned the apartment's outside entry. Da Vinci left Raphael in the doorway to reflect on his words. As the years progressed, he never revealed his identity to the young man who would become the future pope. The two men never shared an audience again, and Da Vinci never revealed to anyone a word of his visit.
For more stories of fact-based fiction, head to jimminns.substack.com.